We are very excited to have with us Therese Johnson of Senior Care of Sacramento. She has a special guest that is with SafestHire, and they're going to be talking about the importance of background checks of employers and employees. So I want to go ahead and introduce Therese Johnson of Senior Care of Sacramento. Therese.
Hi, Jim. Thank you, and lovely to hear Mary talk. And I'm right after the show, I'm going to go on and sign up for the Caregiver Conference. I'm very excited to be attending.
Great.
And, helping out. We're going to have massage therapists there and Reiki therapists for the caregivers that are going to be there that day. So I'll see everyone out there, and looking forward to seeing Mary. Yes, we are talking about the importance of background checks for caregivers today. It's a very important issue. I've been reading different articles about it lately on some concerns about the California states, the way they're conducting their background checks. Most of them are done with live scan, and there's some issues surrounding that apparently lately. And so that's why I've invited Donald Wilson to come and talk to us about that. Are you there, Don?
I am, Teresa. How are you today?
Hi, good. Thanks for joining us. So
Sure.
Donald is with SafestHire, which is a veteran-owned employment background checks company. Their services help ensure that companies are hiring trustworthy employees and subcontractors, and they are a great solution for small to medium-sized businesses because their rates tend to be 15 to 30% less than most other screening companies. And Donald himself is a veteran who served in the Navy, so I'm very happy to have him here with us today. So Donald, can you tell us what is the real value of a pre-employment background check?
Well, there's a couple. I think it's just overall protection for both the employer and the clients of the employer. So under the law, every employer has what's called a duty of care. And under what a lot of people were talking about, people who deal with the elderly and rehab and things like that, there's actually something, I don't know if it's been completely defined what it is, but those employers are considered to have a, quote, higher duty of care, unquote. And so what happens is if you end up hiring somebody that ends up injuring one of your clients, then you will often get a negligent hiring lawsuit. And those lawsuits employers have been losing those to the tune of over 70% and about $1.6 million per lawsuit. So hopefully you just want to make sure that your clients are safe anyway, but that makes it even more so. So what a real value of a pre-employment background check for an employer is, A, it makes sure that the employer is abiding by the law of duty of care. Second, it makes sure your clients are safe and helps prevent you from being the subject of a lawsuit. And three, it helps with employee morale and just the workplace in general when everybody in that workplace knows that everybody belongs there, that one is not a danger to the other, or the client or the employer. So really, there's this growing industry of going after employers, and that's what the courts have ruled, that if you do a pre-employment background check, you have met a duty of care standard. So it really protects the employer in those ways.
Awesome. And so I know there's a little bit of difference between what your company does and the mandated live scan that the assisted livings are required to provide. They have to have their caregivers fingerprinted, but sometimes I know the assisted livings also need, if their caregivers are going to be driving their clients, they need to make sure that they have a driver's license and that it's in good standing, or maybe they want to do drug testing. So these are other services that aren't mandated by California that your company does, and so it can be kind of a one-stop shopping and sometimes a little bit easier to hire your service, and I know that it's fairly reasonable. So what makes SafestHire different from other background check companies?
Well, the really big important part for employers is that there's a couple thousand background check companies out there, but just because you order a background check from them doesn't mean that they're compliant with the law. So what we like to specialize in is making sure that whatever jurisdiction we're going into, you're compliant with that jurisdiction's laws. For instance, in California is far more severe than even the federal government. Any violation of the law that you do on a background check when doing it is a maximum $10,000 fine per incident. So For instance, let's say you hired me. There was never even any damage done to me. I work for you. If they find out you've done something wrong, they can come in and look at everybody you've interviewed in the last 5 years and class action lawsuit the employer to the tune of $10,000 per violation, even to someone that no damage was done to. So most people, they're a business owner. They've got lots of things on their mind. They're just trying to do their due diligence, and they have no idea that their background company is not compliant, and that if anybody starts looking into it, they're going to be in a world of hurt. They're just trying to do business, trying to help people out, especially in the industry that we're talking about. The last thing they need is a headache of, oh, I have a background check company that knows nothing about compliance. So that's a big thing. And then also, we run lower overhead, so we're able to give specific service. Anybody who comes on with us gets at least 2 customer service representatives, and we tend to run 15 to 30% cheaper than other background check companies. So to get good compliance without us charging you a premium price for doing that is really what makes us different.
And I know that you are checking for different counties, not just the state of California. So if an employee has been living somewhere else, you can check in those areas. And you were telling me that certain counties, it all depends on if they report to the state or the agency, federal agency. And so it all depends on how good their reporting is. And if the county doesn't report that often, then they're not going to be up to date. So your records are much more up to date maybe than a lot of the federal records.
And this
is the thing about the live scan that a lot of people don't realize is that, say you're getting your information from the California Department of Justice, they won't report an out-of-state crime. So let's say I said I did elderly care in Colorado. You have no idea from the California Department of Justice that I might have been convicted of elder abuse. Now, hopefully you want to pick that up on the FBI database, but if that county doesn't upload to the FBI, you're not going to find out from the FBI either. Live scan's just going to give you a green light, you're okay, and you have no idea whom you're hiring.
Well, this is really an incredible thing. We're going to have you back as well. I appreciate so much you being on the show. This is a really important topic. Therese, I just want to see, you want to summarize and just definitely I want to have Don back just to talk about this issue.
Yeah, so I just really want assisted living to know about their service because it can benefit them. They have a big issue right now with the live scans can take a while, sometimes up to 2 weeks or a month to get back. And if they have a caregiver that's been hired and they know they've already had their live scan fingerprints done, but they can't hire them till they get the test results, they can use Donald's service, SafestHire, and it only takes them 2 or 3 days. And so they've done their due diligence knowing that caregiver already worked for another company, and they do have their fingerprints, but they can go ahead and put them to work instead of waiting till they get the live scan report. So that's a big benefit for the caregiver. So I want to thank Donald Wilson, the co-founder of SafestHire, for being here today. If you have any questions for him, you can reach him at 916-899-8144, or you can contact SafestHire on their website at www.safesthires.com.
Thank you so much, Therese Johnson and Mr. Wilson. And I think this is important information, definitely. Thank you so much, Therese Johnson. Of course, you can find out more about Therese Johnson for placement and other information for your seniors at seniorcareofsacramento.com.